this out. So whoever's here, hello. Okay, I want to show you how I designed this card. So this card, legendary. I'm always looking to make masculine cards, and it's kind of hard to find ideas for masculine cards. So what I did was I started with this stamp set that I had got a while ago. I'll show you what it looks like. So we've got a couple of different Highland cattle on here. Legendary, think moo, and heard you had a bad day. And when trying to decide, I was like, okay, this cow has flowers in her hair. So that's not going to make a good masculine card. So either one of these I thought I could use for a masculine card. And so many papers that we get are florals. And so it's hard to find something that you can use for a masculine card. So my friend sent me this new paper from Stampin' Up. She's a Stampin' Up demonstrator. But it has great designs like this on one side, and then the other side's a floral. So I decided to use this paper for the front of my card. And then, of course, it has flowers on the background, which we're not going to use. So one of the things you have to think about when you're designing your card is what colors are in here. So we've got a navy blue, and we have a white, or we think it's white. So this is an aught light, so it should show colors a little better. So this is white next to this. And then this is like a cream or a vanilla color. So it's where you first thought that it was white. It really has more of a cream kind of look. So you need something kind of somewhere between these two. You also need to decide what color of blue you're going to use. So depending on what kind of stamp pads you have a whole bunch of different choices of blues. So we have this darker blue. I have this lighter blue. I do a lot of this. I do a lot of laying the layers together to see what actually looks nice when I put them together. Now these are cows that I stamped and cut out because I thought I knew what I was going to do with them when I first started messing with the stamp set. But obviously, I didn't. I ended up with this cow. So I stamped a couple of these. I stamped this cow and I colored it. But then I didn't really like it. I thought I had a fence that I could put in front of it, and I couldn't find a fence. So when you see other people make card videos and there are they have everything perfect. They have everything laid out. They know exactly what they're going to do. They've put a lot of time and thought and effort into that. So when you go to make a card, don't feel like you have to have everything perfect the first time. Because those of us who make cards for a living, we make a big mess. Someone asked, I said, I'll just show you. Yeah, that's how it really looks when you're making a card. It's not just the pretty things that I'm going to put in front of the camera. So let's go ahead and get started on this. And how I decided what I wanted to do here, because I knew I wanted some focal image. You always have to have a focal image. And I didn't want a circle. And I didn't want like a heart or something. Because this image, we're going to take out one of the circles here so you can see what I'm talking about. These are dies. So if you've never been a crafter before, these are dies, and we run them through a machine, and they actually cut the images out for us. So if I have this cow, and I get my circles, I'm like, okay, I can get this much of the cow. I just didn't like the circle, so I reached for something else. I have these hexagons. I don't sell for anyone anymore. These are all just products I already have. If you're new to crafting, go to Temu. You can get everything. You can get everything on Temu. And it's really not bad quality. Okay, so I liked this. I liked how this one looked. So I'm going to show you what we do to get this image. So the stamps are clear. These are just clear stamps. These are from Close to My Heart, but they closed. So we don't have Close to My Heart anymore. So many of the great stamp companies have closed. So I'm going to take a piece of cardstock, and I ended up stamping my cow in black because I tried the two different blues that I showed you, and they just don't match. And I didn't have another choice. of a blue. If you're a Stampin' Up person, like you buy from Stampin' Up all the time, you would have the exact color of blue because their cardstock matches their paper, which matches their ink. And a very long time ago, I was a Stampin' Up demonstrator, and I had all the colors, but I don't anymore. So we're going to go to my favorite, which is VersaFine Clair. And this is wonderful. It works great on the clear stamps. So I'm going to ink up my little cow. The other thing with clear stamps is that you have to have something underneath when you stamp. Oh, it's Sandy. Hi, Sandy. I was like, I couldn't see any comments before, but I see you now. So this is a mat that on one side, it is a self-healing mat, but on this side, it's kind of squishy. And you need that with these photo polymer stamps because they don't have any cushion. Now, when you buy them, they normally come with this really cheap little piece of cushion. But I like this mat. So I'm going to put my cardstock down here. I've got my stamp on here. And since this is kind of a bigger stamp, I'm going to put this here. I'm going to use this little thing, like a hockey puck, you know, like for air hockey, and just rub it down. And you'll get a really good image. Ta-da! There's our little cow. He's so cute. So then we need to cut him out. So we get those hexagon shapes. And you'll notice here some of them have straight sides and some of them have little dots. So if you do the one with the little dots, that's just going to make a little perforated line around it. And what I'm wanting to do here is I want a big blue. I'm going to be like, okay, so the largest one is going to be for my background. So I'm going to go to the next size that is not perforated. And it'll go right on there just like that. So I'm going to line it up. I want to make sure I get both of his horns on there. And then I have some double-sided tape that is, it's only slightly tacky. So when I run it through the die cut machine, I can do that. I'm going to move you over here. I hope it doesn't make you sick when I move you over to the die cut machine, but I want you to be able to see what a die cut machine is and what it does. All right, so we have these plastic plates. We have this machine, and I need one more plastic plate to go on top of it. And as it goes through this machine, it's going to cut. Okay. I'm sorry for the camera work, but okay. There we go. So I push this button, and it just goes right here through this machine. And then when it comes out here on the other side, our little cow is completely cut out. So there we go. And then that slightly sticky tape comes off. So that's how we're going to do that. And then we want to color the little cow. And I use a lot of alcohol markers. You can get alcohol markers now so inexpensively on Amazon or Temu. And unless you are an excellent colorist and you own Copics, don't spend the money on Copics unless you know what you're doing. Copics are a brand of alcohol markers. They're like $7 each. Crazy expensive. So I got this set recently on Amazon. 60 pieces in the brand HTV RONT alcohol markers. I think it was $9. So really, don't spend too much. Okay, so before you color, you want to take the cardstock that you just used so that you'll know what your color is going to look like. And I always make a little swatch. So it tells you on the bottom. This is number 97. So I'll do a little 97, 95. And this is, so you'll know exactly what colors your cow is going to look like when you get done. We had second family Christmas today. So crafting is always a good way for me to end a crazy day. And it has been a crazy holiday season, 25, but it's been a really good holiday season. Our daughter has a lot of health issues, but she is finally getting better after 20 some years. And it's just been great. This is GG3. And so this is a gray, which we may or may not use, but I still want to swatch it. We have a WG3, which is a warm gray. And the grays do different things. So I didn't put the other one there. WG3. And then, of course, we have our black. And we have CG9, which is a cool gray. Okay, so for our little cowl, I'll show you how I did here. This part is lighter, so I really need I need a yellow, kind of a yellow color to go on here. Let me see if I can find, yeah, I'm going to use this one, I think. Melon yellow, which at first will seem too bright, but it'll be okay. So you have a chisel end and you have a point. So I'm going to use the point end and I'm going to color this part of the cow yellow, which might seem a little crazy, but trust me, it'll work out in the end. I hope I don't have my head in the camera. Okay. And the reason I'm using the yellow is because I want it to be bright. And I want my cow to be light at first. So I'm going to start with my lightest number, which is going to be my 97. You would think 95 would be lighter, but it's not. And that's why it's important to swatch out your colors. All right. So we'll get this little cow some color here. Hope everyone else had a good holiday. All the fun. I say, darn the Hallmark movies who make everyone think that holidays are perfect, because as we all know, holidays are not perfect, but hopefully you were able to embrace the good parts of the holiday season. We have friends here from Germany right now, so that's kind of fun. We did a white elephant gift exchange with the family today and had a couple people that had never done it before. And it was just fun because everyone was silly and exchanged gifts they didn't really care if they had or not. Just took them to make it more fun. Hey, Abraham, how's it going? These are just HTV Ront. They are a cheap brand. I got them on Amazon. I think it was $9 for 60. But this last week, I saw sets on Temu. I saw sets of like 60 and 120 in the $20 range. I was like, what? So they're getting much cheaper. And I said, unless you are a super colorist, there's no reason to buy Copics. They're crazy expensive. I have two Copics total. So what I do is I use the colors that are actually, or the details that are actually on the stamps. So like this cow, you can see how the designer put in the darker spots. So once I color it lightly, then I go back over it with a darker marker, and this is my 95, and I just go right over those lines. Because the designer is making it easier for you to see where to put your low lights and your highlights. So there we go. I got my cute little cow. I need to color his, I don't know, what do you call that, a muzzle or something? Yeah. Do you ever use alcohol markers, Abraham? I didn't know if you like to color or not. Okay. So now you look at this and you think, okay, this looks silly because I only have these little black dots here and there. Well, fix it. I sound like a real teacher, don't I? Fix it. Take your black marker and just randomly put some dots around. And you don't want to press really hard. You don't want big, obnoxious dots. You want dots that kind of mimic what you're already seeing from the designer. See how you just kind of fill that in? And on this one, I accidentally dropped my brown marker. So I made some brown dots because it's what you do when you're a crafter and you make a mistake. You just got to go with it. And then let's see. My little cow, he needs a scarf. So I think I want to use this one, but I'm going to swatch it first because you just never know. Yeah, I think that looks pretty good with this paper. I think that blue's going to be okay. So I'm going to go back to the small end to do his scarf. And we're going to make him look cute. I've had this stamp set for almost, well, no, I've had it for more than a year. And I've just never played with it. And I was like, you need to start playing with some of the things you have that you haven't played with yet. And then, because I've kind of got a little polka dot theme going with my polka dot background, I want his scarf to have polka dots. So I'm going to use this. This is a Sharpie paint pen. And it's, oh my goodness, Abraham, you have all the Copics. I really can't wait to come to your house and play now. And the Ohuhus. I've thought about getting the Ohuhus. But I'm cheap. Cheap, I guess. So this Sharpie paint pen, just kind of have to prime it. Prime it on something else. Don't prime it on your project. Because sometimes these things blurp all over. So just do some light little polka dots on his scarf to make him match everything else. Wow. Look, I'm now a little envious. I'm like, man, all the Copics. I just don't think I color well enough to buy all the Copics. Okay, so we've got that, which is starting to look a lot like this little guy here. Okay, so now I need to find my paper. And I just showed my desk a minute ago, so you'll know why I don't know where my paper is. I'm looking. Okay, so this is the paper, and it's from Stampin' Up, and it's called Serene Love. It's a 12 by 12 set of paper. So I'm just going to go through and I'm going to get out this same color that I used before. So in this pack, you have this one, you have this green, you have the off-white and polka dots, this one that I want to use for the outer layer. I'm going to take it out. You have a kind of a teal blue, and then that. But on the back of all of these, they're all, oh, hi, Tony. They are all florals. Did you drink your green drink today, Tony? I woke up this morning, I'm like, all right, new day, got to drink the green drink. If you guys don't know what we're talking about, we got some, it is Organifi, I think is the brand, green drink, and I love it. It's so good, and it has all your vitamins from vegetables for an entire day in one drink. Lovely. Oh, that's not a big enough paper trimmer for a 12 by 12. Let me grab my 12 by 12 paper trimmer. If I know where I put it. I don't know where I put. I'm just going to use my scissors. So we just need a card front for each of these. Or for this one. That should be big enough. So a card front for a regular size card is 5 1/4 by 4 1/2. And I like to leave a 1/4 inch border around. So I'm going to cut this paper to 4 inches by 5 1/4. Oh, you're right. I cut it too short. Like I said, you come here, you're going to see all the mistakes. And then when you go to make cards, you won't feel so bad. Let's try this one again. Okay, 4 inches by 5 1/4. There we go. But if you look at this, my pattern doesn't go all the way because I tried something different with this. So I took and I cut this at about 3, I think I could probably cut it at 3 inches. So I did it 3 inches. And then I wanted a long strip of the blue here. So just get your paper back out. And when you use a trimmer like this, you either have to line it up at the bottom or at the top to make sure that you get a really good straight cut. So I'm going to line it up right here so I can see the blue. And then I'm just going to come over and get some of those other lines with it. so I have a horizontal piece to use. All right, so I have my horizontal piece. I have this piece, but now, as you can see on here, the pattern was shifted just a little bit. So I'm going to cut another piece that is 4 inches wide, but I'm not going to start it at the exact same place. So let's see. This one, we want to end with a big blue. So if this big blue is going to be on the side, see how the pattern is just going to be slightly shifted? And that's what I want. So from here, this only needs to be that big. Then we'll make this 4 inches. All right, so we will line these up. Just slightly shifted. Then we'll put this on here. Then we'll have our cow. And we're going to need that bigger piece right there. So from this, I'm going to cut out the larger of the hexagons. But this is the smaller of the two. I need to find the bigger one. I'm not normally such a messy crafter. It's just been a season, man. It's been a season of being a little messier than I like to be. So I'm just going to put this in the die cut machine really fast. And I already showed you guys that mess. I'm not going to take you to the die cut machine again, but I'm going to just put this in here. And we're going to get another hexagon. And die cut machines come in all sizes. I have this electric one that I like to use. I also have a really small one. I have a medium-sized one. I have a huge one. Because they're all good for different things. And now I'll just show you what I did. Because I was talking and not paying attention, I put my die face up and I did not cut it. I did not cut it. I just made a dent. Okay, I'm going to try again. Y'all will wonder how I ever get anything done. I'm usually much, I don't know, maybe I'm not much more organized. I guess I could say it, but it's not true. Okay, now we've got our piece here. So we've got this piece now. And we've got our little cow. And we want to do it this way because it's going to look cuter on our card. You can use whatever kind of adhesive you like. I've been in a liquid glue phase. I use Barely Art Glue or Glitter Art Glue because it holds really well. Oh, that's great, Abraham. I tried to get my dies organized the other day, and it's like, do I do them by maker? Do I do them by topic? Do I? So I went by maker because I normally know who makes my dies. Okay, so that little piece is ready, and let's go ahead and put the card front together so that way we'll be ready. I need a card, which means I need some white. Okay, I gotta grab a piece of white because I don't have any out. I thought I did. Okay, now I found my white cardstock. I like to buy white cardstock at Hobby Lobby. It's called Extra Heavyweight White, and that stuff is so thick. So you trim an 8.5 by 11 paper to 5.5 inches, and then you need something to crease it with. My favorite tool are these old Pampered Chef pot scratchers, which is kind of funny, but that's what I use a lot of. Okay, so I'm just going to fold this here, crease with this so you get a nice edge. Okay, and we are going to put our pattern paper down. And when you were in elementary school, they tell you don't use too much glue. Same thing here. You don't need a lot of glue, especially if you're using like this white liquid glue. It holds really well. And you don't want too much because then it will oosh, oosh, squeeze out the edges. Most of the good glue, like the Barely Art, and the glitter art glues are, they dry clear. So, okay, we're slightly off, which is what I wanted. Then we're going to put our little dividing piece here. I'm going to hold it there and see how wide it is. And then I'm going to snip it and just trim it up. Oh, yeah, I have the Nina, but the stuff from Hobby Lobby is even thicker. Maybe I'm not buying the right Nina. I did buy some, what did I buy? I bought some Nina, or no, that's the Hammer Mill, like super smooth or something for doing, the gel press. Oh my goodness, I love to gel press, and that's so messy. So much fun. We'll do that one day. Okay, so this is done, but you need some dimension on your card. So if you can see how this is up off of the card, we use pop dots for that. And you can get pop dots from anywhere. You can get them in all different sizes. You can get them little tiny ones. You can get big fat ones, just depending on how much height you want. I have no idea where these came from, but oh yeah, I do. These came from Hobby Lobby. You can get a great big pack of pop dots. Has these smaller sizes and bigger ones. You can even cut these in half, depending on, you know, how big your project is, how much area you need to cover and you want popped up. These little white things, they get everywhere, but it's okay. Once I'm done with this project, I will clean my desk, but I knew I wanted to show you this. So I was like, I don't want to put all this stuff away, then have to get it all back out. All right, so there's our little moo cow. But I want you to look at this. See how much difference it made having the little brown dots? And this one doesn't. So guess who's getting little brown dots? Yep. And that's what you have to do. You just have to look at your projects and think, what would make this better? Why doesn't this look good? Or if you're watching someone else's videos and you buy all the stuff and then you make it and you're like, I don't like mine as well as I liked theirs. What's the problem? Don't be afraid to experiment. It's just cardstock. If it doesn't work out, you can throw it away. You can start over. Okay, got to color the horns because the white horns on the white cardstock, they're not showing up. So we'll look at our little swatch and be like, yeah, it's this one. It's the Cool. And we don't want the WG3 because that's this one. So we want, oh, I guess it's G. It's Green Gray 3. All right. Let's hit his little, and just be careful you don't get out of your lines and stuff, or you won't like it. Okay, there we go. Now, I want you to look at both of these closely. Okay, look at this cow. Now look at this cow. Can you see what's different with these two cows? Ooh, that's a good idea. Hammer mill for that. I'm going to show you. This cow looks like he's coming kind of up off the card. And the secret, half of my stash of Copic markers, okay, there's only one, because I only have two, is C1. It is Cool Gray. And I'm going to take Cool Gray, and I'm going to outline my cow. And it will give just enough that it will give him some dimension. Just go around everything really lightly. You don't want a big wide border. You just want a little border. And this color is so light that it just blends into the cardstock. But it's amazing how much of a difference it makes around your stamped images. So we've got that. We've got our card. Now we need our saying. So I am using, for the cow, I use the top of my stamping platform, which I don't really use in the way that you should use a stamping platform, but that's okay. You can do whatever you want with your own craft supplies. So let's see. Where is my legendary? Well, here's my stamp set. So there's what I'm looking for. Oh, it's already on a block. How efficient. Okay, so for this one, I'm actually just using a block. And some of the blocks you get have grid lines, and some of them don't. But I really like the ones that have grid lines. These were from Fun Stamper's Journey. Yet another defunct stamping company. I think I should stop joining stamping companies. They all go out of business. No, really, I don't think I'm the reason, but I have been with three companies I really loved that have gone out of business. Okay, so we take a piece of white that is, or white-ish, that's the same color that we used before. I've got this really well inked up with my VersaFine Claire because that's my favorite. Oh yeah, the sea gray. Oh, sea grays for shadows, yeah. All right, so I'm gonna probably put my head in this shot here, but I'm gonna get Legendary. Press down. Don't rock. If you rock, you end up with uglies. Oh, that is unattractive. It's not dark enough. Let's do it again. I probably didn't clean it after I used it the last time. There we go. And see, I got a little too much ink around there, but we're trimming this off, so it doesn't matter. Okay. So let's trim out our Legendary as close as we can. We won't do a bunch of fussy cutting on this because I don't want to, because I want this to be straight. And fussy cutting just means cutting with your scissors. I love to fussy cut. Abraham does not love to fussy cut. It's probably because when I first started, we didn't have like the electronic die cut machines and things. And so everything we had, you just had to cut by hand. And so I got really good at cutting by hand. All right, so we have our nice little Legendary. And of course, we want to pop this one up as well, because if we put it flat, that would just look silly. And we want our card to be beautiful. And I know that I have things sitting here at my desk to mail. So everyone who I was mailing Christmas cards to are now getting New Year's cards. Okay, Legendary. And line that up. Use the lines on your paper to help you. Ta-da! There we go. So I hope maybe I said something that helped you when in your thought process of how to use these cards or use the stamp sets, how to use your markers, watch out what you're doing before you do it. If you make a mistake, just throw it away. Just start again. It really doesn't matter. Let's see what Tony. Yeah, Tony says. Oh, I'm so glad. The printer. Yay! I'm so glad. I'm so glad that's helpful. Yeah, I love to make things with pattern paper, like just to get a set of pattern paper and see how many things I can make. And I'm going to show you one other thing that I've got here handy. I don't know, Abraham, you'll have to tell me if you do things like this or not. I go through phases where I like to do one thing. So like I got a new stamp set and it had sloths. So I colored sloths. One day I just colored sloths. And now they're in a bag and they're just ready to go. Do you prep stuff, Abraham? Or do you just like, are you organized and you just make cards? And not make piles of things to make cards with? So yeah, whatever you feel like doing that day. So these are just a couple of other cards I have in here. I like this one. It's got this cutout background and I actually popped up some of the clouds. Got the little floating bunny, get some embellishments on there. And then I also like to make sets of cards, which my friend Richard was great at. He always helped us make cards in sets, because that's kind of fun to give away. So I have lots of things that are already cut, that are already colored, that are just ready to go. So sometimes I'll even pull from this bucket when I go to make cards. And one of my friends from high school said she has a Cricut machine and she wants to see some things made with the Cricut machine. So later I'll show you some things like this. This is a tree die, and you actually cut it out of brown, out of red, out of pink, green, light pink. And here you can kind of see the layers of it. And then you pile them all together. So these are for Valentine cards. And it's like I'm thinking ahead. Okay, now I'm not really thinking ahead. These were left from a couple years ago. But I will use them on Valentine cards this year. So thank you for coming to my inaugural live. I hope it helped everyone unwind after this crazy day, the first day of 2025. And I will do more of this later. So if you have things you want to see, and Tony, if there's anything that you're just like, man, I'd really like to know how to do that, just send me a note or comment on this video and I will be glad to. I know Granny G wants to see how the dry embossing works, so I will move things around so I can show that next time, because I showed all of those Christmas cards I made and they all had dry embossed backgrounds made with the embossing machine. So that's it for tonight. Oh yeah, you layer your sentiments because you have dies, right? Because I know you're not I know you're not fussy cutting them. Yeah. Or do you use your Cricut? Oh, okay, great. Yeah, I'll try to do that tomorrow. I'll try to do some that video. I have this tiny die cut and embossing machine that I can use on screen tomorrow, but I also have the big one. So if I can figure out a way to move the camera over there so you can see it easier, I'll use the big machine. But either way, all right. Well, I'm sure I'll see some of you in Natalie's live chat, 10 a.m. Central Time tomorrow. And otherwise, I'll talk to you guys later.